gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for February 1st, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, an anticipated 2023 release is getting delayed, and Apex Legends is shutting down on mobile. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James from Giant Bomb, everybody. Lucy, how are you doing?
Hi. I'm really tired today, man. I don't know why. I went to bed at a reasonable... Well, I do know why. I have chronic fatigue. No, I had a really bad night of sleep for some reason.
Can I tell you what I did to really get juice for today? I took my normal shower, and then I did set the timer and fully went cold shower. And I'm wired. I'm wired now, Lucy. So you got to deal with this. No apologies. I make no apologies. You got to deal with this now. The epinephrine, the norepinephrine is coursing through my eyeballs. I'm ready to talk about video games. I don't care if you're not, Lucy. Frankly, I don't care.
I love how this is like punished snake, but it's wired Grubb.
Yes, I am.
Wait, so hang on. Cold showers, is this a new thing you're doing? Or did you...
I've done it before in the past. I just haven't like incorporated it into my morning routine when it comes to Game Mess Mornings. And we're going to see if I regret this or not. Right now, though, never felt better. $1 million.
I mean, honestly, it's infectious. It's rubbing off on me. I already feel more awake.
Yeah.
I'm plunging my French press.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, we were just talking before the show. I have a sleep study tomorrow that I am so excited about because it's one of those ones where it's like the overnight thing. They wire stuff to you. And a friend of mine, Joey, he used to work for GameSpot, used to be a sleep technician. And he is now invested in my sleep journey. But no, they were like, yeah, you can't have any nail varnish on because I assume they put an oximeter or something on you. They were like, yeah, you have to be here by 7. It's all the way in bloody Walnut Creek, isn't it? And then they're like, oh yeah, we kick you out because the clinic closes at 6 a.m. So
wait, so you get there at 7 p.m. You're gonna be sleeping that night, and then it's like 5:30. They're like, get up, you got to get dressed to get out of here and all that stuff. Yeah. So okay.
I have taken Friday off because...
Yes, that's a good idea. I, too, need a sleep study. I know our good buddy Jan Ochoa has done one in the past, and I'm like, man, I should do that too. Now okay. I'm gonna schedule mine. I am barely set up with my doctors here since I moved. I'm like, I just need to bite the bullet and like ask around, be like, okay, how can I make this happen? So we'll see.
Dan says he's the CPAppy.
CPAppy. Shout out to our CPAppy. CPAP.
Yeah. I had one of the overnight like tester things that you plug here, and it said there's no evidence of apnea or anything. So
it hasn't happened recently, but I have woke up in the middle of the night because I stopped breathing. So I'm like, oh, that's a sign. I gotta go. This hasn't happened in a long time, everybody. I know everyone calm down.
Still,
right? It's happened. Exactly. It's bad. I gotta do something about it. I like having brain cells and do not want them to die. So I will be doing something about that. All right, let's get into this hell of a mess. But before we do so, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Star Wars Jedi Survivor has been delayed. This comes from Andy Robinson at VGC. In a statement published on Tuesday, developer Respawn Entertainment said the delay was in order to achieve the level of polish our fans deserve. Jedi Survivor was originally due to be released on March 17th. For the last 3 years, the Jedi team here at Respawn has poured its collective heart and soul into Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and we are proud to say the next chapter in the tale of Cal Kestis is content complete, which I'm sure that's been that way for a very long time.
Yeah,
we are now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the better be. We are now focused entirely on the final stage, bug fixes to enhance performance, stability, polish, and most importantly, the player experience. Now, the new date is April 28th. This is a month delay. they've done
They
this.
didn't want to hold out for 6 more days. They didn't want to hold out for fucking 6 days to hit May the 4th. Are you joking? Who over there is responsible for this? Come on.
Honestly, this probably sets them up like the game is just out, and then on the May the 4th, when all that stuff is happening, it's like, oh, everyone's talking about this game, so now that's another reason to talk about it. I bet May the 4th factored in there, so you're not wrong. Although you're right, May the 4th would have been just 6 days. They easily could have released it on that day.
It's so easy. No, it's hard. I assume someone at Lucas was like, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. And that'll just be like, oh, now it's 2 days. We can have the launch day and May the 4th. But for a game like this that people are anticipating, especially one that were for the predecessor when it came out, it did have a lot of issues at launch. It was very buggy. People had a lot of complaints. I played on PC. It wasn't too bad for me. A lot of people playing on console really saw a lot of T-posing and all kinds of other weird stuff. So, that was like the biggest complaint for the game at the time. So it's like you probably want to avoid that at all costs. But all costs is probably not just a month delay, because really developers can only do so much in a month. A month is just not much.
No. I'm trying to think about what my experience was like when I played it, and I honestly don't remember. I don't think I had anything too egregious bug-wise, but also it's Star Wars, so I kind of maybe glazed over a lot of stuff.
What was
I doing in 2019?
Probably sleeping.
Depressed.
Yeah, like the rest of us. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You gotta get those cold showers. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This is something EA has done pretty frequently. These 1 month delays. It's they did it with Battlefield 2042. That went from I honestly can't remember, but I know Need for Speed went from November to December.
I was gonna say maybe Battlefield.
Yeah.
Who knows what the delay may have done there, but
exactly.
Yeah, definitely Need for Speed.
And it's like, both examples. We have no idea what they were able to accomplish in that month. My guess would be, well, what kind of patch do we get in the first month after a game comes out? And that's probably what we can expect here. So the game was in a certain state, and now we're basically getting that first patch we would have been getting, but at launch instead. And okay, they could probably fix some significant things, make the game perform a little bit better. If this is the case, it's probably still going to come in pretty hot though, and there's going to be several known shippables. And we'll just have to see. And I, at a certain point, I'm mostly okay with that, as long as the game isn't going to break on me, and isn't like a complete terrible performance issue or something like that. But this is probably a hard decision, because this pushes it out of the fiscal year for EA. So now instead of coming out in March, it's coming out in April, and that means they're going to have to reduce their expected income for the year, and they do that in the future story here, as we're going to get to in a little bit. But this game's still one of the bigger ones coming out this year. This isn't going to hurt it in any major way. And most people, when they hear delay, they're on it. I think at this point, most people are like happy it's only a month, right? That's almost good news at this point.
I think we're so used to seeing like a big chunky 6-month delay at this point, where people go, oh, a month, that's fine. But also that means Resident Evil 4, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to worry about hitting both in such close proximity. We're fine. I can just play my Resident Evil, and then I can play Star Wars.
Yep, it's almost a bit of a relief, because the February and March we're getting really backed up, and this is like a little bit of pressure let off the steam valve there. So
yeah, I think so, and I wonder as well if people are just more accepting of delays at this point. Insert Miyamoto quote here.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like I do that every week on this show.
I think it's applicable every week. So yeah.
Oh, wait. Yulia says it's now putting it closer to Breath of the Wild, though.
That's true. On the other side, so April. You know what though? Breath of the Wild is May, right? So
it's May 12th.
A month.
May the 12th.
No, it's April. It's April. It's late in April, isn't it? April 28th. So yeah, 2 weeks. Good point. All right, we'll see.
I mean, that's fine. For the people who are going to play at launch, which I understand is not going to be everyone, so we could be fine.
I just remembered that we're in Nintendo jail, so we're not even going to get Tears of the Kingdom early, probably. So damn.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Giant Bomb is in Nintendo jail. I forgot about that.
EA cancels mobile Apex Legends and Battlefield games, shutters industrial toy studio. This comes from Dean Takahashi at GamesBeat. Electronic Arts announced it is canceling its Apex Legends mobile and Battlefield mobile games. and as a result, it is shutting down its Industrial Toys game studio. Apex Legends Mobile debuted last year, bringing Respawn Entertainment's hot Apex Legends shooter to mobile devices. It won Apple's Game of the Year for 2022, as well as the same for Google Play. Now the game will shut down in 90 days. Battlefield Mobile, meanwhile, was in soft launch, and it will also end. In a blog post, Respawn Entertainment cited slipping quality for Apex Legends Mobile's updates as a reason for shutting down the title. EA made the announcement as it released its earnings for the third fiscal quarter, ended December 31st. Basically, in that blog post, Respawn says, at the start, it was really impressive. We had everything going, and as time has gone on, it's been more difficult to keep parity or even kind of keep anywhere close to a cadence that we're happy with of releasing new content that is high quality for Apex Legends Mobile. So we are and we don't see a future for doing that going forward. This is still a little surprising because I remember like the common wisdom just a little bit ago, Lucy, was if you have a free to play game, it needs to be everywhere. It needs to be exactly like Fortnite. And so put it everywhere, and no matter what that takes. And now we have developers and publishers pulling back from that, being like, this isn't worth it. I don't know. I'm surprised. How about you?
I am very surprised they're shuttering the studio. I was just looking at where it is. It's in Pasadena, California. That really sucks. God, the Wikipedia already says was an American developer / publisher.
Yep.
That really sucks. And it did kind of come out of nowhere. I was very surprised. I thought that Apex was at least doing well. It seemed to be everywhere. It was getting meaningful updates. There was a lot of buzz around it. Like you said, App Store Game of the Year. That's no mean feat. Battlefield as well on the other side of things. That's the one that Industrial Toys was making.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that game existed.
Yep. I don't think it was out in any of the markets that were.
I wasn't even aware that they were actually making that one. Battlefield has had a really rough go of it the past few years. So that news is less surprising. Apex, though, given that it is a jewel in the crown, certainly for EA, such a success story, that's very surprising to me. But I just really hope that those developers get reassigned elsewhere within the company.
Just to let you know, Lucy, you've turned into a change the battery pack and a notification, so just a little warning there.
Well, that is surprising because this camera is plugged in, wired.
That is always scary. Oh, it's set to evil. Oh no.
Carry on.
I think we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it. Absolutely. Okay. The other side of these EA stories is, okay, so what does this mean for other projects at EA? Well, EA confirms new Lord of the Rings game is still in development after Battlefield Mobile and Apex Legends Legends Mobile was canceled. This comes from Eddie McCoo at GameSpot, and we got Lucy back as well.
Oh, that guy. Hello.
Eddie tells us Electronic Arts management has confirmed that the publisher's upcoming Lord of the Rings mobile game, Heroes of Middle-earth, remains in development. That wouldn't normally be very noteworthy, right, but the company confirmed this after it canceled Apex Legends Mobile and Battlefield Mobile this week. EA boss Laura Miele said on an earnings call this week that the team at EA's Capital Games continues to actively develop Heroes of Middle-earth. The game was soft launched in select territories in July 2022. Meanwhile, Miele said the full release remains on track for later in 2023. Now, Capital Games is the one that did Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes for EA, a game that has made over $1 billion in its time. This one also isn't very surprising. These games made specifically for mobile seem to be doing mostly just fine for EA. And so, they weren't going to pull the plug on Lord of the Rings, Heroes of Middle-earth, just because Apex Legends Mobile wasn't working for them anymore, right?
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about Lord of the Rings mobile games.
Yeah, so I was actually going to ask you about that. Like, this is your wheelhouse.
I feel about that.
Yeah.
I've fucking already seen what that Gollum game looks like, and that's a console one.
Are there any like Lord of the Rings games right now that are exciting to fans? I guess maybe isn't Amazon working on something? Maybe that was just the shows. Maybe they aren't working on games.
I mean, Lord of the Rings Online is one that I've not personally dipped into, but is still going strong after all of these years. There's the Gollum game.
Oh, there's something from Weta. Why can't Weta?
Weta Digital.
Yes.
What are they doing?
This is, we can ask Eddie. I think I remember reporting this story. Weta and GTA company Take-Two's indie games division. So Zoetta's working on probably a smaller project, but I do remember them like,
I
and
would assume so.
we're gonna use all of the stuff that we had from making the movies to actually make the game, and that's promising. Additionally, Standing Stone continues to update and support Lord of the Rings Online. So
Return to Moria is that other one.
Okay, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
But is it time to get back into Lord of the Rings Online in 2023? Is that what we're doing?
I can't in good conscience encourage people to get into an MMO at this point in their life. No, I mean, I have it downloaded. It was actually very cheap. So I have it downloaded and ready to go, but I need to find some time to do that. I know Lord of the Rings is such a messy one for gaming. Now Embrace has got everything. We'll get that. What was it the Aragorn standalone? Was that gonna be a movie or a game? And the Gandalf standalone shit.
I think it was going to be like shows and movies and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then
bring back the Lord of the Rings musical, man. The stage show.
Absolutely. That and Spider-Man Enter the Dark or whatever it was called. Put those back to back. Make it a big long show. I
saw the Spider-Man. What was it called?
Defeat the Dark, Turn Off the Dark. There we go. Luther Jennings, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I saw that in New York and it was a hot mess. I'm very sad I never saw the Lord of the Rings stage show. Yeah, Jan says, let's ask Broadway Alex, and I'm fully on board with that. No one got injured.
Are those like bootlegs easy to find, or are they just lost or whatever?
You know, I don't know.
Should look at
it. I mean, there was also, wasn't there a Shrek one?
I hope so. I wasn't paying attention to the theater because being in Ohio and Colorado, I felt very far away from Broadway. I'm like, I'm never going to see these things. So, yeah.
Lord of the Rings stage musical.
Yes. Jan says yes to Shrek. All right, let's go. It's kind
some of it's online. Yeah.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Well, we will definitely look for those bootlegs, and I will put them on my Plex server, just like everything else. But in the meantime, we'll see what happens next with Lord of the Rings games. Embracer does have that stuff. They just got done selling off Tomb Raider to Amazon, so maybe they're looking for a buyer for Lord of the Rings as well.
Fucking flip on that! Oh my god, can we talk about that for a second?
Absolutely. I'm never gonna get over it.
The century.
Just we're gonna pay $300 million to Square Enix. These fucking goofballs over there at Square Enix just rolling around in their Final Fantasy 14 money, being like, well, this is all we're ever gonna need. Let's get rid of all this stuff for a fire sale, and they sell off. What is it? It's like Deus Ex, all these IP. There's Tomb Raider,
and then Deus Ex, Tomb Raider, Legacy of Kain.
Yes, Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics.
They sell off Just Cause? I think they still own Just Cause.
Yeah, I don't remember that being mentioned in the story, but it's like, okay, well, Deus Ex and Legacy of Kain and Tomb Raider all pretty big, and then those studios, $300 million, and then they turn around and apparently sell just Tomb Raider for $600 million. Just incredible stuff. It's unbelievable.
Square makes so many baffling decisions and has done over the past few years that I'm just like, you guys need better business people.
Yeah, it's a company made entirely out of stepping on rakes. It's like all the way down. They just step on every rake. They like invent new rakes to step on. That's what the NFT stuff is. So just a weird, bad company. It's a bad company. It's like they're so lucky they have Final Fantasy 14 because they're such a bad company.
It's so bizarre.
All right. Anyway. Meanwhile, EA's profits were up 13% in Q3 to $1.3 billion. This comes from James Batchelor at GamesIndustry.biz. Electronic Arts has revised its guidance for its current fiscal year after a third quarter that was more challenging than expected. Revenue and gross profit both rose year on year, but the company lowered its expectations for the full financial year, now expecting net bookings of between $7.07 billion and $7.17 billion. In an earnings call, Chief Financial Officer Chris Sue said that this was due to the delay of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the announced shutdown of Apex Mobile, and updated expectations based on Q3 trends. In the company's announcement, CEO Andrew Wilson said, in Q3, EA delivered high-quality experiences, driving record engagement across some of our biggest franchises, and growing our player network. While our teams delivered for our players, the current macro environment impacted Q3 results, which, revenue and profits were up, and yet Q3 was like some harbinger of death.
I saw something. I was like, they got 10 million new Sims players.
And
Where the fuck did they get that from?
yeah, I think, I mean, obviously they went to Steam before last quarter, right? So it's not that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think The Sims is having a moment in like with content creators, right? But is that enough? Oh, it went free. That's right, Jamie, and thank you.
Oh,
That's right. They made the base version free.
Like,
thank you.
What did The Sims do? No, The Sims, I will go on record here, and I think The Sims has one of the best relationships between its community the actual team who make it. They released like a new kind of Sims Direct thing yesterday where they were showing off the new update to babies and everything, which sounds ridiculous to say it out loud, but it's actually pretty huge. They put a bunch of stuff in, like Sims can have binders now. They can have hearing aids. There was even a Sim who's had top surgery and they had the scars, and I was like, that's so fucking cool. They're listening to their community and stuff. And yeah, they're finally updating babies, which everyone is losing their minds about.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So I almost put that in the stories because I'm just like, I need to see what's going on there. But I might just check in on The Sims myself here pretty soon.
It's a great game. And then they've got Project Renee, which is coming up.
Yep, it's
Sims 5.
Yep, Sims 5. It's in the works. So probably it's like both pretty far off, but also it seems like they're testing some stuff here as well with that community.
Yeah, I've seen some leaks. There was some leaks a while ago from a playtest, and I was like,
Sims is not the only one that's like having a moment though. FIFA also is like coming off of the excitement about the World Cup. They said this is like FIFA's on pace this year, FIFA 23, to be the biggest soccer game EA's ever put out. Basically, its pacing is to be the biggest title in franchise history. Now, I guess the change there is, well, they can't make Sims free again, and FIFA is going to change its name next year to EA Sports Football Club, and there's not going to be a World Cup again for 4 more years. So it's like FIFA's probably not going to grow again next year, or EA Sports Football Club's not going to grow again. Also, it looks like Apex Legends is beginning to not necessarily falter, but it's not putting the company on its back like it was, especially when Battlefield 2042 came out. I remember like talking to people at EA at the time, and they're like, we are surprised we're pulling this off because we're telling investors, don't even look at Battlefield, because look at Apex Legends. Look how good it's. Look, we're running all these ads constantly on TV because Apex Legends is the future. And it's like they did pull that off. Investors were like, oh, okay, yeah, Apex Legends is fine. Well, who cares about Battlefield? But now it's like, well, if Apex Legends doesn't put the company on its back again going forward, or just begins having a natural tail off, well, then EA is going to be facing some real challenges going forward. It's going to be difficult to sort of replace that game, or maybe boost it back up to where it was once again. They probably can. Respawn's a very good developer, but it's going to be challenging, right?
It is, and they are. I also wonder as well, when we hear the Q4 results, which will be, Jan 1st to March 31st, how big of an impact Dead Space has had, given that EA's really seen some success with not only just like single player games in general, but the remasters they've been doing, like Mass Effect Legendary Edition was fantastic. And I'm wondering what else they're going to dig into in their back catalog. Obviously, Dead Space 2 and 3 are ripe for the picking, but they've got Motive also working on an Iron Man game. So yeah, I'm interested to see the impact of that one. And then, of course, we'll have Jedi for Q1 2023. Yeah. Yep. Financial years are a thing that I don't. Just make it 1st to the 31st. Come on.
Yeah, I've never actually asked about it. I just assume because taxes in America are in April, that company's like, okay, we'll just go to March and then we'll do our taxes in April or whatever. We'll make sure that everything's like sorted by then, and then we'll start the year over in April or whatever. So it's probably what it is. It doesn't mean it's like a good. Some companies do the calendar year. Not many of them. Some of them do calendar years for their fiscal year, and I'm like, well, that's weird too.
But Apex as well. I think I'm super excited to see what Apex has in the pipeline. I haven't dipped in a few months, but every time I see like some new update, people are very, very excited about them. Excited about the new Legends, and then of course you got new Battlefield. I don't think it's coming. I don't think it's gonna be this year, but like Marcus Leto, co-creator of Halo, went over there. He's got the new studio. Wait, who's doing? No, that's Warner Brothers. For some reason, I thought I had conflated a Lord of the Rings thing in there. The Shadow of
yes, I can tell you why you conflated it. You want to hear why you conflated it?
Because they left left and they've started a new EA studio.
Yeah, there it is.
That's
Hell yeah,
right.
those neurons are firing. I knew it. I knew you'd get there.
Yeah, finally.
That's the now I'm trying to. Is that the studio that is working? That's the studio that's working on the Black Panther game now at EA, and that's a different Black Panther game than the Amy Hennig game. I think she's working on a Black. I think I can't keep them all straight anymore.
I'm so sad they've gone from Lord of the Rings, a property I care about, to Marvel, a property I couldn't give two shits about.
Yep, there it is. And but I mean, how did you feel about not War, Shadow of War, or whatever it was, War of Mordor, the second one?
Well,
okay.
No, I liked it a lot. I played a hell of a lot of it. However, the end game is objectively bad. It's just doing the Fort Assaultress.
You could just buy microtransactions to make it more fun. Spend money
over and over again, ad nauseum. Also, the story is not great, and that's, they were super just handheld by what the limitations of what the Tolkien estate would allow them to do. I have no idea how the fuck they got away with making Shelob a sexy woman, but she was a pretty sexy woman who was having it off with Sauron, and I was like, okay, that's at least an interesting take. But also there are bits in it where I remember there was a side mission, or at least like a string of side missions where you go rescue a bunch of Gondor captains, and then it just ends. It just ends. And actually, similarly with Talion and Celebrimbo's story, that just kind of felt like, oh, okay, this is where we're stopping. Then you're going to do all the fortress assaults for fucking forever, and then maybe you'll get a cutscene. I didn't even do that because Justin Haywald, who reviewed it for us at the time, just messaged me, went, it's not worth it. Mate, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
That's a good friend saving you from that.
Yeah. I really liked it. I think the Nemesis system is fucking fantastic. And I think a lot of it was, like, some of the fights you could do, like the Balrog shit, was really cool. So I like those games a lot, but I also recognize the shortcomings.
What is it the internet says when they like see like a guy's apartment and it's all messed up, but he looks happy? It's like guys rule or whatever. Dudes
rule.
Dudes rock. Dudes rock. Yeah, when I see a sexy Shelob, I'm like, games rule. Games rock. Games rock.
Yeah.
They're figuring it out. They're doing their thing. They don't care what anyone else thinks about them. They're gonna do a sexy Shelob. God damn it. Shout out to Marino. Amy Hennig is on the Captain America plus Black Panther World War II game, and then EA is working on a separate Black Panther game with the people that left. That were working on Shadow of Mordor previously, and now they're at EA. They got a new studio in Washington State. All right, we got it all figured out. Okay, wow, I just moved my cursor around. Let's keep moving here. The rebooted DC universe plans to use the same actors for games, films, and TV. This comes from Jordan Midler at VGC. DC has unveiled its newest attempt at a connected media universe, and this time it'll include video games that feature the same canon, storylines, and actors from the film and television world. That's the goal, according to James Gunn, the DC Studios co-chairman, who outlined his plan during a presentation about the future of the company. The DCU is connected in film, television, and gaming and animation, Gunn explained. Characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and works in one story. Gunn did leave himself some room to like disregard this in the future, because there's Elseworld stories, which apparently DC's name for things that like, this
Batman.
is a what if. A what if. Yes, the Batman, I guess, is one of those.
Joker.
This seems like a difficult thing to pull off these days, Lucy. Games take a very long time, and it feels like if you were to start a game today with the actor that's playing one of these characters today, by the time we get to the end, that person could have left, and they could have rebooted things all over again. I don't know. This seems like a tough one. What do you think?
The DC Batman specifically. Batman is the thing I care about. Okay, I mean, objectively, I think this is a stupid fucking idea. Okay.
Did you see Jeff Keighley, his response to this? He's like, "Thank you for mentioning games, sir." He didn't say the "sir" part, but it was implied. I felt just thank you for mentioning games. Like, oh, Jeff, you never stop.
I mean, okay, so that's the thing, right? Hang on, formulating a thought. Clunk, tick. My brain taking over. I did not watch Gunn's like video. I didn't watch Gunn's video. I saw kind of like the top line stuff, finally getting a Grant Morrison Batman. We're getting, Supergirl, Swamp Thing, all that kind of stuff. Elseworld stuff. Cool. I'm into it. I like that we have someone like James Gunn, who at his heart is a writer first. And I remember seeing like an interview quote where he was like, yeah, we're actually putting writing first. I'm excited about all of that. I think the connective tissue between games is, no, it's not good, because it's such a different process. It takes so long. And I think you are going to be putting actors, and I'm not calling them voice actors, because they are at this point, like, they're actors. They should
performance capture will be, yes, absolutely.
Performance capture, like, they are artists in their own right, likenesses. You are putting, you're threatening to put some of the most talented people in the business out of work for the sake of a continuity that I don't think that many people care about. I think it's worked previously in the past without this kind of continuity, and I mean, Kevin Conroy would be the best example here. Obviously, R.I.P. to Kevin Conroy, but like taking him away from being a Batman role, from being Batman just because you want to get fucking, I don't know, Robert Pattinson in, is no. And I mean that's kind of like the nuclear option, but yeah, I think that's kind of dumb. But it also as well, it's like by having everything be this connected universe, unless they're gonna give some games the option to be the Elseworlds thing, I don't know. I'm not into it.
Yeah, I think that I get the impulse here, right? Because I think maybe it's easy to remember if you're someone that's at one of these companies, like, well, I was paying attention to that Marvel's Avengers game. That was going to be the biggest thing in the world. And then everybody only talked about how these characters didn't look like the movie actors. And so, well, it was weird in that case. The character models looked especially funky compared to what was expected. And they did look like stand-ins or, the body doubles and things like that. But in all the biggest superhero games that have ever come along, Batman Arkham, the Arkham series, that was never it was Kevin Conroy, right? Throughout those games, I think it was Kevin Conroy. And then
it was Kevin. Yeah. And then, it was Kevin Conroy, except for Arkham Origins, which was Roger Craig Smith.
Right. And then you have Marvel's Spider-Man and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. And while they did change the character model, maybe look a little bit more like Tom Holland, it's still not Tom Holland. It may be evocative of it. And then, Miles Morales, a game I like even better than Spider-Man. That's nothing like the common movie versions that we've had of Miles Morales, because that was animated, and this is a different voice actor and a different character model. And what they do is they just make allusions to the movies. Here's the you can get the movie suit and place it in the game. And
it's almost as if the character itself is the most important and recognizable thing that existed before it was transitioned to the screen.
Right. So like, that's not the same. Again, if you want to try this, you can. I don't think it's going to work, but and obviously it can work without all this stuff. But I think you're going to find yourself in a situation like down the line where this is just like, oh yeah, we've been saying it's going to be this actor for a long time, and actually at the last minute we might have to change things out because things have changed in the reality of the film. But if they do want to do this, they have to start at the beginning as well. So it's like, okay, we do have to start now and just hope things are going to work out. So maybe this is just them having an optimist attitude about it, and we'll see if it actually does pan out. Moving on, Nintendo has no heavy hitters after Zelda Tears of the Kingdom releases on Switch this year, according to multiple reports. This comes from My Nintendo News. IGN has published an article regarding the Entertainment Software Association report yesterday about E3 2023. The statement from the ESA, which neither confirmed or denied the report from IGN that Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony would not be present at the rebooted E3 2023, also included some information about Nintendo's software release schedule for 2023. In the article, IGN says it has heard similar information to VGC from its sources that Nintendo has a light second half release schedule for the Switch after the long-awaited The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom releases in May. This is leading to speculation online that the Kyoto-based company is possibly planning to release the successor to the still popular Switch console sometime in early 2024. Basically, the IGN quote is just like, IGN understands that Nintendo and Xbox were initially interested in having a presence at the event, but that both had to pull out for reasons unrelated to the show itself. VGC has since reported that Nintendo opted not to take part in the event due to a light second half release schedule, not justifying the event space, information that IGN can corroborate. Yeah, I think that's likely. It's possible. Switch will have like a new Pokemon follow-up, probably the DLC though for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Pikmin 4 could come out in the second half of the year. Yeah, but it's like beyond that, will they have much? And this has been the rumor for some time is it's going to be a lighter year. I think one of the Nintendo leakers whose name is escaping me, Emily, help me out, Chad. They were saying that it's going to be a lighter second half of the year for a while now, and that seems to be going around. I think that they can rely on Zelda to carry them through the second half of the year, but they were saying that they were going to sell more Switches this year than last year. And I think that threw a lot of people, threw me off. I'm like, well, if they're going to do that, they must have a lot lined up for the year. But maybe they're just like, nope, under the momentum of Zelda alone, we're going to do that. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe that does make sense. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, surprising that we're not hearing anything about a Metroid or anything at this point. Like a re-release of a Zelda would be pretty sweet around now. But I guess I don't know. Breath of the Wild was such a phenomenon when it released in 2017 and continues to be one. So, yeah, I don't think anyone at Nintendo is worrying at all. But, yeah, I mean, it makes sense to back out from E3 if that is the case, because otherwise you're going to be doing the classic thing of, here is a massive booth that we've spent millions of dollars on for a game that's already out that you're probably already playing. You're probably playing it in line as you wait to get into the booth, which sucks. I mean, been to E3, the Nintendo booths are always ridiculous. Like the Breath of the Wild one in particular was the Breath of the Wild one, the
Mario Odyssey one.
Yeah, the Luigi's Mansion one.
Luigi's Mansion 3 one was fantastic.
That was so cool. So, but yeah. Nintendo. I feel like they're fine.
I mean, in 2019, they kind of They didn't do that, right? They just had the Nintendo Treehouse Live stage, and that was what they did. And it's like, I wonder if they're like, why do we do that? If we don't have stuff to show, if we don't have a big reason to go all out at E3, maybe instead we can just...
No, they were Pokemon. It was Pokemon at 2019. It was Pokemon in Luigi's Mansion, wasn't it? At E3?
At the last E3, they kind of... in previous years, they would have their big display, and then there would be this big roped-off area where you could go on, and there was a million stations where you can go and play all their games. And then in 2019, they probably did have some games, but that big roped-off area was completely open, and you could just walk up and watch the Nintendo Treehouse Live stage. That's how I remember.
I think that was a mix of both. Hang on. I don't remember.
Well,
I remember doing the...
I definitely went upstairs and played games in their corporate thing that they have behind. They had that still, definitely, yes.
Yeah, where Reggie and whoever's just walking around.
Yes.
Oh, that was Link's Awakening year? Remake year? That was upstairs that year.
Yes. I definitely went upstairs and had demos just like normal. They just didn't have their big display like they normally had.
Did they do anything for Animal Crossing?
Well, Animal Crossing was
March 2020.
Yeah, so I guess
I don't remember, man.
I think they talked about it during their Treehouse Live and put it on.
I don't think it was playable there.
Yeah, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember playing it. But it's like, I mean, clearly they were already sort of rethinking their presence at E3 at that point. So
there we go. No, it was the big Pokemon one for Sword and Shield.
Okay, well, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Marina just dropped a
right.
picture.
And that, but yes, but this is like, okay, yeah, I remember this. And then this was, because I'm trying to like place this on the show floor because there's Atlas. Okay, yes, this was like off to the side of their normal thing. Yes, Pokemon. Okay, man. So
wow, 2019 was a fun year. It was, God, the Ghostwire Tokyo stuff. It was You're Breathtaking.
Yes, right. Yeah, I mean.
Persona 5 Royal.
A lot of fun stuff could still happen at E3. These companies are just, I think.
Oh, it will. Writing it off too soon.
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, there's a list of companies that are going to participate. That it's not EA and Activision, but it's basically all the other publishers are going to be there. Yeah. So it'll still be a fine show with lots of going on. It's just, and the stage shows that people from the outside were always remembering, those will happen in different forms. Maybe they won't happen exactly at that same period, depending on who these companies are. Sound like Nintendo might not have something, and Sony usually doesn't anymore. But they'll have stuff at other parts of the year to get excited about, and so those moments can maybe still keep happening.
Yeah.
Okay. The Pokemon Company reveals plans to sunset Pokemon, the trading card game online. This comes from Alana Higgs at Nintendo Life. The Pokemon Company has announced that it will be removing the Pokemon trading card game online app from the App Store, Google Play, and the browser version of the Pokemon website sometime this year prior to the official launch of the Pokemon trading card game Live, which is a new version, a completely reworked version of the app. The company made a statement today on the official Pokemon support website. Live is currently available to beta testers worldwide after a limited beta launch last summer and a few delays, and we're expecting to see it sometime this year. This is
what?
Yeah,
what?
so
My cards, my virtual cards, Lucy.
this is why
what am I gonna do?
Yeah, this is why I did this. These fans are very
hundreds
upset.
of dollars.
Yes.
Did he actually spend hundreds of dollars on those?
Have you met Jan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
you
so
know
the
he
thing
has.
is I know. So the thing is that Joey Gills dropped in something about PS Plus collection that we should probably talk about as well. And I thought Jan was referring to that. But then No. I remembered. Oh, Jan, I'm so sorry.
Our poor Janny. Jan, this is the kind of thing that I've heard from fans like, oh, no, do we actually need that old version? Because Live is broken as hell. Apparently, one of the bugs that happens with trading card game Live is you can start a match, and the game will just give you your opponent's deck instead. Like, how does that happen?
Oh, sweet.
That's so wild. I'm really impressed by that, actually. So, we'll see, but fans are kind of feeling it here where they're like, okay, well, this is going away and I don't trust Live to be a sufficient replacement. But we'll see if they're able to make that transition. What's the PlayStation Plus business?
If you scroll down, Joey Gills,
there we go.
Put it PlayStation Plus collection.
Weird.
We also wanted to provide an update on the PlayStation Plus collection that has been offered as a benefit to PlayStation Plus members on PS5 since 2020. On May the 9th, PlayStation Plus collection will no longer be offered. If you haven't redeemed the titles in this collection yet, you can still do so until May 9th, which will enable you to access these titles even after this date, or as long as you remain a PlayStation Plus member. So games included in that include Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit, Become Human, God of War 2018, Infamous Second Son, Ratchet & Clank, Last Guardian, Last of Us Remastered, Until Dawn, Uncharted 4, Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Black Ops 3, Insane Trilogy, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat X, and Resident Evil 7.
This is okay.
And the monthly games have come up as well.
Right. So if you've redeemed, they're not going to go away as long as you keep PS Plus like normal. This is a lot of those games are probably a part of PlayStation Plus Premium going forward.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is not too shocking, I think, or like devious.
It is shocking considering the price hike and the fact that the PlayStation Plus collection is always touted as being, hey, you get access to the creme de la creme, at least of the creme de la creme and Detroit Become Human.
Right. And so this was on the base tier, right? This is like,
this is on the essential tier.
So it does feel like they are just shifting things around to make premium look better without actually making premium. Oh no, this is premium. I'm saying premium. This is on the middle tier, which I can never remember the name of. That one
essential, extra, and premium.
Yes, extra. Like all these things should be on extra, but I mean, still, that does also help to make extra look better. But yeah, you're right. This is like the price has gone up. For the system, they have shifted around the cost of PlayStation Plus, so now there's a higher tier that they're probably trying to move people up to. Services are very important to Sony, so yeah, this is them probably just sort of being like, we could probably end that. That's something that we haven't talked about in a long time. Although you're right, it does get touted pretty frequently when people are like, here's a good reason to think about getting a PlayStation 5. But I bet that this is PlayStation 5 is at a point where people are looking forward to PlayStation 5 games at this point, so it's probably not going to like hurt sales in any real way. This is probably calculated in a way they're like, this is going to be fine for us, right?
Like that's the thing. I don't think people are buying a PS5 and going, oh shit, yeah, free Bloodborne. They should, but that doesn't mean they're doing it.
Right.
And also, where's that 60 frames per second patch? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's basically, you just go in, redeem them, add them to your library. You don't even have to download them. It was like one of the first things I did when I actually booted up my PS5 and I just saw the collection was live and I was like, beep, 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 beep. No discs for me.
Yes, exactly. I have a discless PlayStation 5. I just ran one. I committed.
I have a disc one.
Yep,
I have a disc one.
I committed.
And
I guess we'll kind of see how if they continue trying to make PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium look improved. But it just feels like they don't really know what to do with those services. I mean, I don't know. Really, it's premium that's a problem. So extra, like if you are
game trials, baby.
Yeah, game trials. There you go. Even that just feels completely then it doesn't include every game, right? Not every game is a game. It gets a game trial, so it's just so weird.
A lot of them do. Like pretty much every Sony first party one does, and then you've got third party. Cyberpunk definitely has a trial.
Okay.
a bunch of stuff does, and like you get access to the classics catalog as well, which I mean, it kind of depends on what kind of a gamer are you, because the middle tier is, you know, that ridiculous catalog of hundreds of games from kind of all over, and then yeah, you get classics, and if you are the type of person who is reminiscing about stuff from PS1, that's the one for you. So sadly, you have to pay a little bit extra for it, but yeah,
All
cost of emulation.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Xbox 360 dumping 45 plus old games and DLC starting February 7th. This comes from Eddie McCoo at GameSpot. Microsoft is removing more than 45 older Xbox games and the related DLC from the Xbox Store on Xbox 360 in early February, the company has announced. The games will still be available on newer Xbox consoles for both purchase and download. The removals will begin on February 7th, 2023, Microsoft said in an Xbox support page spotted by Wario64 on Twitter. The page also confirms that any game removed will be able to be re-downloaded from the download history page. Some of the titles set for removal include Assassin's Creed 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, Castle Crashers, Dark Souls, Skate 2, and The Witcher 2. These are all on the older side, of course, but some play on newer Xbox consoles via backward compatibility. Microsoft did not provide any rationale for why the 46 Xbox 360 games are leaving the Xbox Store on that platform. My guess here is that even just having these games on the store requires you to also have people standing by to deal with support calls, and like that's like a resource drain, and that you just look at it after a while and be like, people are buying these on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and we're fine with that. We don't need to maintain like a system in our back end so people that are working for us in customer support understand what's going on with the Xbox 360. Maybe it's time to sort of begin phasing that out. That feels like what this is, but maybe there's other reasons to it as well. And maybe it's licensing stuff. Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I think as well the most egregious game that we're losing isn't mentioned in this list, Jeff. Peggle 2.
Peggle 2. Yes, I love Peggle 2.
Peggle 2. Dude, Peggle 2 is great.
Now,
last year, a friend of mine, Cardi, came over, stayed with me for a week, and the two of us got the Peggle 2 Platinum.
Yes.
Because we know how to party.
That sounds like a good time.
That was great.
Peggle 2 is that is like on Xbox Series X and S, right? It's like backward compatible enough. Okay.
It's also you can get it through EA Play as part of Game Pass if you have Ultimate. But that doesn't. I'm just fed up of Peggle getting the fucking short shrift.
Right. What is going on? What PopCap has been closed down, and I know they were like kind of in charge of working on the Plants vs Zombies shooters and I guess Peggle Blast and stuff like that. But it's like, what's been happening since all that stuff? Well, PopCap was so cool for so long, and then it just turned into something different under EA. Of course it did.
They took Peggle off the App Store. And they replaced it with Peggle Blast. This is an updated version of Big Yellow Taxi.
Remember what they took from you, everybody. Remember what they took from you. Redfall is an always online game, even in single player. This comes from Darren Bonthus at GameSpot. Redfall publisher Bethesda has confirmed that the game will require an always online connection, even when playing in single player. On the official Redfall FAQ, the new requirement states that a persistent online connection is required for single player and co-op, and that a Bethesda.net account will also be necessary. Another thing that's just not, this is pretty standard stuff for games like these days. This game does seem, they have reiterated, you can play this game single player, you can play it single player, yet they almost always show it off multiplayer. And then even games that I can think of that are primarily single player, like Hitman, has an always online connection. It's always keeping track of what's going on in your game. A lot of games do that, and I suppose that they have their reasons for it. But yeah, something to keep in mind. I'm kind of over this one as well. I get it, and I'm over it. We lost this battle. It was always going to go this way. Here we are.
Yeah, and I think as well, as a game that's touted to be one that you can play alone or with friends, you do need to have that connection to a server in case someone pops in, or to make sure that all your data is up to date with what you've picked up and your progress and stuff. So I get it.
It's still frustrating.
I don't care anymore. I'm gonna fucking play this shit offline by myself because it's an arcane game and I don't trust anyone else.
Oh man, that's good content right there. Giant Bomb presents The Crew messes up Lucy's Redfall game. Yes, here we go, everybody. tune in for that.
Hey guys, so I'm like 20 hours in and I've not been detected once.
Oh yeah, well I just took a cold shower. I'm here to ruin your day. Yeah. All right, here we go. ESA reacts to stories about first parties skipping E3. We mentioned this a little bit earlier, but they had a statement about that. E3 has a rich history within our industry, and we are always heartened to feel the passion for the show and hear what it means to different people. Reviving a trade show, blah, 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 blah. Basically, they just said, hey, we're like, Repop is figuring out what this is, and we're happy with what they're figuring it out, right? Like, what else can they say? Also, the ESA is barely involved anymore, it feels like.
What is the ESA doing?
Yeah.
It's best.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's trying, everybody. And really, honestly, we might not even want them to try, because when they try, they still mess things up. So Capcom updated its best-selling games list. I mostly put this in here because I remember for a long time, they would always say Resident Evil 5 was the best-selling Resident Evil game. I think it was either 5 or 6. Well,
yeah,
good news.
One of the great ones.
Exactly. 5 and 6 both sold 8.6 million, and they are at 6 and 7 on Capcom's overall list. Above it is Monster Hunter World Iceborne, like that version of the game alone, at 10 million. Resident Evil 2. I suppose this is this is
remake?
not
Jan 2019.
just the remake. Yes, because this is PS4,
Wow.
PS5, Xbox One. It's 11.2 million. Resident Evil 7 at number 3 at 11.7 million. And then we have the Monster Hunter cousins. Monster Hunter Rise, 11.7 million at 2. And then Monster Hunter World at 18.6 million. That is a hugely successful game. Like any game approaching 20 million is just massive, massive, massive. Almost no game does that.
Although I am stoked that Devil May Cry 5 is at number 10 with 6.5 million.
The best-selling Devil May Cry game ever is the most recent one. They are going to make more Devil May Cry games. Absolutely. 6.5 million.
Wait, hang on. He's on Dragon's Dogma 2, though, isn't he?
Yes, but they're going to, they're making. They're going to make more Devil May Cry games, though, in the future. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a Resident Evil thing where every year we're getting new Devil May Cry. But they will circle back to Devil May Cry eventually. Absolutely. I think what they want is to see if they can get Dragon's Dogma 2 up on this list and turn that into another pillar. So as like Resident Evil needs a break, well, maybe we can do a couple Dragon's Dogmas really quick and some Devil May Cries and kind of figure out what the future Resident Evil is going to be again and go back and forth. I mean, Capcom's got it mostly figured out, and they're just trying to add more games to their library of things that almost always succeed. Street Fighter V is the other game, number 9, 7 million, and then Resident Evil Village at 7.4 million is number 8.
Where's Okami on this list? That's what I want to know.
Gotta be number 11. It's gotta be just right there at number 1. I never could get into Okami.
Dan at 12.
I would play Okami. I would get to the first painting thing, and I couldn't figure it out, and I gave up. Yeah, I'm very bad at drawing. I think maybe I don't know.
I mean, yeah. You don't have to be an artiste, but no, that's one of my fave games.
Yeah, I love the concept. I was like, man, I want to get into this, and I'm just trying. It's like it's not working. What is going on here? I know, chat. I know.
It's great. It's great.
All right, let's get to the polls. If I have them up here somewhere. On Monday, I asked, do you find the idea of a Tomb Raider game, movie, TV universe exciting? And 69.5% said no. 30.5% said yes. How do you feel about it, Lucy?
I have no strong feelings one way or the other. To quote Futurama, no, I mean, Tomb Raider was a very seminal franchise for me when I was younger, and I actually really enjoyed Reboot and
Rise?
whichever one came next. I didn't really dig the
Rise.
third one. I didn't dig Shadow.
Shadow, yes.
But I really like what they've done with a lot of that. A lot of Lara Croft stuff over the years. I'm very excited. Just for some good shit to do with it, because I think as well there have been some real duffers. But what is it? I'm not here for the Marvelification of brands anymore and universes. I'm tired.
I still like that because when I do spend time on something, I kind of do want to feel like it's an investment and it's going to pay off in the future.
Yeah.
And that's like really that feels cheap. But humans have been doing that since the Bible. Like we put a bunch of books together in one book, and now it's a connected universe called the Bible. So it's like I think it's like human nature at a certain point to want that stuff. most companies seem pretty bad at it still. So like when I see an Amazon saying we spent $600 million and goddamn it, we are gonna make a universe out of this. I'm so, well, if it didn't work for the Dark Pictures universe or whatever it was, the Dark Universe, then
oh wait, yeah, no, hang on. The Dark Pictures, which is the gaming,
right,
and then
yeah,
there's Welcome to the Dark Universe from Universal.
Tom Cruise is the Mummy. If that can't do it, what hope does Tomb Raider? I don't. This is another situation where it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna make a game, a movie, TV show, and it's like the timelines for those things can be so different. And I guess they could play into one another, and they can hit different beats if they are planning it out. Like, and they do know, okay, the game's gonna take 5 to 6 years, so we start a TV show, and that gets 2 seasons, and then we have a movie. And the movie can hit, and the game can hit, and then we do more seasons of TV show, and then we or plan a sequel. But at the same time, maybe we're bringing back, maybe because we spent so much money, we get the rights to redo Tomb Raider 1, and we could re-release that, and that can hit at the same time as the sequel to the movie. I could see all that stuff in their heads. I could see why they think it's worth $600 million.
Yeah, but now that you've laid it out like that, I hate everything.
Yep, and I think it has every chance of failing.
The thing is as well that Marvel feels impenetrable to me at the moment because I didn't watch half of the TV shows. Actually think the only TV show that I did watch was WandaVision. I didn't watch anything past Doctor Strange, so I haven't seen Black Panther, or I'm not going to see Ant-Man. And then every time there's like, oh, you know, whenever the Marvel equivalent of a glup shito joke is, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. And I'm like, that's what I don't want to see from a bunch of stuff that I can casually dip into.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of people like, hey, just put out a movie that is a movie on its own. And boy, is that, I mean, I think that's why people are like, when a good movie like Everything Everywhere All at Once comes out and people are like, this is a thing that could just stand on its own. Thank God.
Imagine a fresh idea.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes. It's like, well, I mean, I think we'll probably still keep getting those as well. In the meantime, though, when a company spends $600 million, they have designs in mind, definitely. Should superhero games and movies attempt to use the same actors? That's the poll for tomorrow for Game Mess Mornings on Thursday. I keep thinking it's for Thursday for some reason. I don't know what's going on there.
It's got Thursday energy, man.
It's got weird Thursday
I'm on
energy.
Friday, so this is my Thursday.
Yeah, there you go. So maybe that's what it is. Their vibes were rubbing off over here. So, okay. So
tired vibes and the wired vibes.
Yeah, there we go. Mix them together, and what do you get? Thursday vibes? Who knows? It's weird. I don't know how that works. The math checks out, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
All right, I'm posting that. And in the meantime, Lucy, what do you got going on? What do we have going on the site?
Grubb Lang's Punch Out today. We have an episode of Jeff Justice Our Adventure, which we actually it's thrown me off because we
I hit the wrong
recorded
button. Oh God, I'm sorry, everybody. Hang on. Oh shit,
No!
I started the show over. We're starting over. No! Okay, Grubber Lang's Jeff's Bizarre Adventure. What else is happening?
Which we recorded last week, so it's kind of thrown me off. What else have we got? Friday Night Forkin' tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Friday Night Forkin'. It's nothing bad can happen on a Friday night. I was playing you off. That's what I was doing. I hit the music to play you off. So sorry. That's not what I meant to do.
I'm gonna be here for 8 minutes and do my acceptance speech.
Hell yes, the longest acceptance speech in history.
Reference. What else have we got? Jan, help!
I don't know. We got other things happening. I think.
UPF on Friday.
We'll be recording a Power Bombcast. Look out for that, everybody. Like the plans are in the works. We want to talk about wrestling. It's time. This website finally talks about wrestling.
Finally. And we'll be consoling Jan about the Pokemon stuff.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
I am not on the Power Bombcast. I don't fucking understand wrestling. I wish I understood wrestling. I don't.
I feel like we could show you the segment at the end of the Rumble and you would get it. That it's soap operas for men. And at certain points, in very special moments, it is the height of storytelling. And boy, was it during the Rumble. It's theater. It is.
Yeah.
Lucy, thank you so much for spending some time with me today talking about video games. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I love it. It's one of the highlights of my week.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.